Hi, I'm James Harris, and this is Layer 1, where we look at the foundations being built under the next financial era. Yesterday, my friend came back with more hauls: Goyard, Gucci, Jacquemus, and I'll be honest, I felt jealousy. Not of the things themselves, but of what they represent. That freedom to buy something without guilt, that quiet sense of progress. And in that moment, I realized what I actually miss isn't the purchase itself, it's the feeling of moving forward with confidence. 2+ years ago, I had just that. I was working in Hollywood, doing hair, making great money. On paper, it was perfect, but inside, I was done. So I walked away from the money, from the comfort, and the plan. And somehow, that choice has led me here. A new country, no paycheck, just faith that something new is forming. Crypto became part of that faith. Not because I could control it, because I can't, but because it forced me to ask questions I'd never asked before. And every answer, whether it confirms or challenges what I believe, it pulls me closer to where I think the world is going. And this week, one of those answers showed up quietly in a government document. The US government has just made Ripple's bank application public. Not a rumor, fact. It's posted on the official OCC site, and it's titled as Ripple National Trust Bank, Interagency Charter Application, Public Volume. Ripple is seeking a federal trust bank charter, and this sounds very technical, but it's one of the clearest signs yet that the wall between crypto and traditional finance is starting to crack. Applying for a national trust charter basically means hold us to the federal bank level standards, the same as many other banks. Ripple's filing is now in the public comment phase before the OCC decides to approve, deny, or conditionally approve it. This isn't just a Twitter idea. It's an official review by the US government. And timing matters. Just this week, the US Treasury expanded its use of the FedNow instant payment services to send certain federal agency disbursements, like disaster relief funds, instantaneously 24/7. At the same time, a White House executive order requires that as of September 30th, 2025, most federal payments move away from paper checks and onto electronic rails. This is so exciting. So imagine this. If companies like Ripple become federally chartered banks and gain direct access to the Federal Reserve, blockchain settlement could sync with these same instant payment rails securely and under oversight. That's not sci-fi. That's plumbing being connected. Ripple isn't trying to be your neighborhood bank. It's trying to own its own stack. The entire system that makes the network itself run. At its base, we have RLUSD. This is the stablecoin. Above that, we have custody and trust. And this is where the money sits safely. Then on top of that, we have payment rails, the road money travels on. That's XRP and XRPL. And finally, compliance. That's the traffic lights that keep everything legal. Right now, those pieces live in different places. A bank charter pulls them all together, leaving fewer middlemen, lower cost, and more trust. This is something that I believe the world wants, is more trust, lower cost, and fewer intermediaries. If approved, Ripple's next goal is a Federal Reserve master account, direct access to the Fed's payment infrastructure. Ripple has pursued that access through its trust subsidiary, Standard Custody and Trust Company. Think of the charter as the license. The Federal Reserve master account is the keys to the highway. No intermediaries, no closing hours, just settlement. Instant, final, and audible. That's how blockchain and banking start operating side by side. Ripple's stablecoin, RLUSD, is already expanding abroad. In Japan, its partner SBI Holdings plans to roll out in 2026 under Japan's new stablecoin laws, RLUSD. Every time RLUSD moves overseas, it extends trust in the US dollar through technology and regulation instead of force. And if other countries follow with their own regulated digital currencies, they strengthen their own money too, creating a global, always-on monetary backbone. France has even talked about or discussed having their own stablecoin tested on Ripple's technology. Right now, BNY Mellon, one of America's oldest banks, holds the reserves of RLUSD. That's fee revenues and first mover credibility for BNY Mellon. If Ripple later holds those reserves directly at the Fed, it's not cutting BNY Mellon out, it's maximizing safety. Funds at the Fed cannot default. This fits squarely under the Genius Act. The US law setting federal rules for stablecoin issuers, which rewards fully backed, federally supervised stablecoins. That's why Ripple, Circle, and Coinbase are all applying for charters now. They're aligning with where policy is headed. So exciting. The US Treasury and the UK have been working on digital asset policy coordination. And this is like in the last week or two. While Japan moves ahead with its own frameworks, and Africa, as we just discussed, integrates peer-to-peer payments using RLUSD. Put it all together, FedNow's digital disbursement rollout, Ripple's bank application, Japan's RLUSD launch plan, global corridors being opened, and a pattern emerges. Governments aren't fighting crypto anymore. They're learning how to run it through the front door. Not a rebellion against banks, but a rebuild from within. I think back to that moment of envy that I experienced, wanting to feel proud again. And I realized something. Maybe pride doesn't come from like buying superficial things, although they might feel good. Maybe it comes from understanding what is being built, and for me, following the purpose. And that even may happen before the world actually sees it. Because understanding is ownership too. And maybe that's what layer one is really about. Learning the foundations before everyone else does. The bridge between old and new money is being imagined. It's happening. It's actually happening right now in front of our eyes. It's being engineered. One regulation, one connection, and one charter at a time. You've been watching Layer One by James Harris. If this helped you see the bigger picture, please like, subscribe, or share with someone trying to understand where money is headed. And as always, this isn't financial advice. It's about awareness, curiosity, and building the literacy to navigate what's next. Until next time.